If you're looking for a barefoot shoe that can handle cutting, lateral movements, and cross-training, then Xero Shoes has made a new shoe exactly for this purpose called the 360. So in this video, I'll be unboxing and reviewing the Xero Shoes 360 coming up. Hey, what's going on? Keith Nunez here, Doctor of Physical Therapy with Good Rehabits, giving you tips on exercise and rehab to help you free yourself from pain so you can be free to enjoy life. So as soon as Xero Shoes announced their new cross-training shoe, the 360, I immediately bought it and it has arrived. So let's unbox it and see what's inside. Alright, so every Xero Shoes purchase comes with a note from the founders here. And then let's take a look at the shoes. Oh yeah. Alright, looks clean. So behold the Xero Shoes 360. The Xero Shoes 360 comes in 3 different colorways. One is all blue, one is kind of like a black and a gray one, and this one is more of like a gray, black, and yellow one. Alright, so let's talk about the features. So one of the new features of the 360 is the rubber sole. So it's a very different design compared to the Prios, and it's also a thicker, tougher material compared to the Prios. So this shoe is meant for lateral movements, cutting, jumping, things you might do in like tennis, CrossFit, or some other kind of court sports. So it looks like Xero Shoes wanted to give better traction, maybe better protection, more durability to the sole in order to handle the demands of these types of sports and training. The sole also comes up higher on the sides here and even in the front to add a little extra support for those lateral movements and those quick cutting, the quick decelerations you might have to do in those types of sports. And while it is a tougher sole compared to the Prio, it is still, it is still very flexible. It also still has that wide toe box like all barefoot minimalist shoes ought to have, so your toes can still spread out. So as for the upper, it looks like we have 2 types of mesh here, one on the outside and then one on the inside. You can kind of see through it a little bit. So that just kind of speaks to the breathability of this shoe. There's also this suede-like material that kind of outlines the shoe here, and it actually is a little more firmer than the Prios here. So again, I think this is for the purpose of creating some durability for the shoe so it doesn't wear out, especially with all the cutting and lateral movements you'll be doing. Now this is a 100% vegan friendly product, so this suede like material is probably not actually leather. Now another interesting feature is these rubber sort of ribs on the front of the shoe here. And what I've heard is that this is for rope climbing. So whenever you climb ropes, you typically might have to use the front of your shoe here. So in order to protect it from wearing out too much, looks like Xero Shoes added this rubber ribbing. So one thing still present on these Xero Shoes are their signature Warachi straps here that will allow you to tighten up around the instep whenever you tighten up those laces. The only thing that's different is this part back here. Normally this would tighten up around the heel, kind of like on the Xero Shoes would. This part is actually sewn down, so it doesn't actually necessarily tighten up around the heel as you tighten up the laces, but it still offers some tightening up around the instep. So as for the laces, they look like pretty good quality laces. They kind of look like that paracord material. Now as for the insole, it is removable, so if you want to get closer to the floor, you can always take it out. And it's also still very lightweight. According to the website, it's about 9 ounces and actually very close to the Prio. Now that we unboxed the Xero 360s, let's put it on and test it out. Alright, so I decided to test it out in various activities to see how it feels. So first off, just wearing it and walking around felt extremely comfortable, even on hard surfaces like concrete. So already a huge plus. I'm not a huge runner at the moment, but just doing a light jog using that forefoot, midfoot striking actually felt pretty good too. It didn't feel too hard on my feet at all. And then I tried some small hopping and still no problems there either. Then I really tested out the ability of the 360 to handle lateral movements. So I tried some side shuffles back and forth and that felt completely fine. And then I tried some lateral bounding and it actually held up pretty well. I didn't feel like my feet were sliding around a lot in these shoes, and I was able to jump right back to the other side pretty quickly, so I didn't lose a lot of energy there. And I know the shoe is meant for court sports like tennis or pickleball. I'm not a tennis player at all, but I do enjoy some basketball, which does involve a lot of cutting and lateral movements too. Here's me trying to flex my crossover and dribbling, just ignore that. But it does show that the traction and the upper hold up well with these quick changes in direction that you would expect in basketball or tennis or things like that. And then I know in CrossFit and cross training there may be some sled pulling and pushing, so here's me trying to replicate it with a resistance band. And again, still no problems with traction. So overall, the Xero Shoes 360 held up really well with all these lateral movements, this cutting, quick changes in direction. So I'm really impressed by the shoe. So this shoe is going to be really good for anyone who needs to do any lateral movements or cutting, changing directions, or just needs a lot of traction. This may even be a good transition shoe for those who are looking to get into barefoot shoes and just need a little bit more extra cushion or support before fully committing to the traditional barefoot shoes. Now, as for price, the original price as of this recording is $109.99, but there is currently a fall 2021 sale going on through August 23rd, 2021, where you can buy the new fall styles, including the Xero Shoes 360, for 20% off. And if you buy a second pair of another of their new fall styles, you'll get an extra 5% off. So if you want to get yourself a pair of these Xero Shoes 360, especially while the fall sale lasts, use the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.